Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to Giggle and Grow with co-host Morgan.
And Courtney. It's 2024. Welcome back, everyone.
We are so excited, guys. What we want to talk about today is more so how to improve your gut in the year of 2024, right, Courtney?
Yeah, let's kick us off, Morgan.
Absolutely. So, Courtney, what made you start to focus more on your gut health? What kind of brought you into this journey?
Oh, good question. So I had been losing a couple pounds lately, and what happened was I went down to like 170 and I could not get past it. And I noticed I was just really bloated, and I was actually eating a lot of bread that would bloat me, or I tried to cut carbs completely and it really helped. But I noticed I was still getting bloated, and I was like, what is happening? And then I went out to eat with one of my bosses, and she actually told me, you might have celiac, so you should go get a food test. And I was like, okay, I should try it. So what I decided to do is go to this natural pathologist who is in Denver. And what she did was she took my blood, and she basically tested every single food, and boy, did I not realize everything that was affecting me. And I found out that I was I was inflamed like 3 times the average human. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, very big, very crazy experience for me, because I didn't expect to find everything that I found. And I didn't realize that I was going to have to go completely gluten-free. And not only that, I had to cut out cow's milk, I had to cut out a ton of different foods. But tell me how your journey started and where you're at.
Absolutely. So, mine kind of started more so in terms of really truly physically how I felt. It more so got brought to my mind in college. I was working out. I felt like I was eating all things right. We're all college students. I probably ate out a little bit too much, but all in all,
we all did in college,
right? But no, I truly think, then and there is when I started to realize I was getting bloated as well. And it was a very uncomfortable feeling. It kind of stopped me from wanting to go out, do things with my friends that I normally did. And that's when I kind of started to change different habits in my life. And it's been a really long journey. It's been more so in the past year where I've really been able to kind of find more answers, kind of realize what habits help me, not just, what is thrown out there on social media, which I know is something you kind of wanted to talk about today too.
Yeah, so, no, definitely. I like that. That sounds like college was like a big stopping point, or, changing point for you.
Right. So. It was, absolutely. And listening to all the girlfriends too, that was something that they started to realize.
Yeah.
We aren't brought upon that, and usually high school. Our parents were, grown up a little bit differently. At least mine were, they're in their 60s now. So
right. It was
very
imagine. Different than what it is now. And curious, what have you been doing? Because for me, I'm very new to it. So I started this journey in December. I basically found out there was a ton of foods that I'm sensitive to, and I'm cutting them out. And I found out I had to start taking a probiotic, but I didn't know where to start. So I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on probiotics and what you do and your journey there.
Yeah, that's also a great question. Actually, what really got me into it is I started talking, reaching out to people that have experienced more gut health issues back in college once again. There was someone in my life really close to me who really struggled with, a lot of acne. They struggled with not being able to lose weight. They were gaining a bunch of weight, but eating healthy. And they were like, what is going on? Of course, that person actually ended up getting a food sensitivity test as well, and found out all these things that she had no idea of. She was actually prescribed a really heavy probiotic that was, you can't get it on the shelves by any means. And that actually started to slowly heal her gut. And by hearing this story, I was like, oh, what are probiotics? And that's when I started to kind of get into that too. So I, went through probably 3, 4, 5 of them just in probably a year or two, and didn't see much of a difference. But I also found out you got to be consistent. You can't be skipping, every other day or 2 or 3 days and thinking it's going to work. So, again, in the last year, it kind of led me to seeds, which I've kind of explained to you a little bit before. And I'm sure a lot of people here have seen it on social media. That's where I actually found it. And this specific probiotic is actually mixed with prebiotic. And that's a huge difference there.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Right. And I didn't either. And that's actually something that really makes a difference when you're taking these kind of supplements. A lot of probiotics, Some can work for others, but of course all guts aren't the same. So because of that, they don't digest in your stomach the right way. When it's wrapped with a prebiotic, it actually helps for your stomach to digest it in the way that it's supposed to, kind of break apart and process, and help your body do.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
I like the science behind that.
Right,
That's
right.
crazy. I honestly didn't know that prebiotic and probiotics, I think I've heard of it, but I didn't really understand the whole part, like what the science was behind it. So that's really great that I know now what you take, because that's something, my natural pathologist, she was kind of giving me a couple options, and she was like, it might take you a second to find the right one that works for you, like you said. And so I think I'm going to start seeds.
Yeah, no, I think you should.
It.
I think I would honestly give it out to anyone. Like I said, it came across social media. I'm kind of hesitant about those things, but no, it's changed my entire life. So, I mean, wanting to get into prebiotics, kind of going along this journey, I know you kind of talked about just gluten-free, having to get rid of stuff out of your diet. You're adding supplements in to kind of help all that. How has it actually emotionally made you feel?
Wow.
Like, I mean, like, of course you're doing all these things because you want to feel good, but it's not always an easy road to get there.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah. It's very overwhelming, I think, at first. But what I found is, what's crazy is I've noticed at like the grocery store and stuff. Here's what I've noticed. First of all, King Soopers or Kroger or any of these large like food stores, they don't really help with people who are gluten-free. The one thing that I have noticed is a lot of foods on the back of them will tell you, hey, this contains milk, this contains eggs, because those are two things I can't have as well, and this contains wheat. So the three things that it basically talks about, like not those three things, but it basically tells you, okay, here's what's in the bag. I think that was my first thing that I learned by going gluten-free, and was the first like emotional aha moment. Like, okay, this isn't as bad as like I think it is. And like after that, you check every bag, and you don't have to read through every single ingredient, because they will put it at the bottom. This has eggs, soy, you know what I mean? I can have soy. That's not a problem for me. I know for some people it is. But another thing that I found that was really crazy is it can kind of be expensive. And so that's another emotional journey that I went on, just being like, okay, is it worth it? Do I do it? And then what was crazy was I cut it out completely, felt 100 times better, and then would go back a few times and I would get terrible anxiety. Like I was almost getting sick to my stomach, and terrible chronic migraines. And I know now every time I eat any type of, it's crazy. Like even had soy sauce the other day in my rice, and I had a headache for 2 hours after. And I couldn't believe that cutting it out for like a week, it was actually like 2 weeks. I cut out for 2 weeks, and then adding something back in accidentally did that to me. But it really did. It was crazy. And what I noticed is that for me, what I need to do is really, really focus on a strong diet. And then when I heal my gut, try and reintroduce foods and see. So for me, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I just keep reminding myself, like, this doesn't have to be forever. We just have to heal our gut, because I am extremely inflamed, working on that. I've already noticed a difference in like my anxiety and my depression, things like that. Don't have it as much. Completely different mindset. I mean, it's really helped me change, my perception on food in general and what I can and can't eat. It's crazy.
I know, that's the kind of
long story, but that answers. But that's basically the answer to your question.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to make that big habit change in your life, but also when you again become more mindful about how you actually want to feel, how it's making you feel, you kind of find out it's not worth it sometimes. So no, absolutely.
I agree. And I kind of wanted to know about your diet. I know, like, you had mentioned to me, we haven't said it here yet, but you went vegan at some point.
I did.
Curious how that went for you and what that was like. And
absolutely. So that was also a weird time, and also, again, in college. So I didn't have, a ton of extra money to be buying all this organic stuff. But really, I mean, my main focus was kind of, getting rid of meat more specifically. I read these things at the time where, meat was maybe causing my bloatedness. So I was like, why not? There's still a lot of other things I can eat. and again, it was challenging, but it actually brought this whole side of creativity to me. It opened up my love for cooking. Not that I still enjoy it as much anymore, but it definitely got me into it. Eating chickpeas. I mean, I'm a little iffy about those.
Oh, really?
I
don't like those either.
Yeah, I'm not a
hummus fan, no.
See, I like hummus specific flavors. If I got like my yummy chips,
that's fair.
Or something, right? But,
that's totally fair.
Yeah,
I did keto at some point, and I did that, and that's what really helped me lose a bunch of weight. And I realized, but I only could get so far.
Yeah,
and that's what brought me to the whole gluten-free thing, because I was like, when I don't eat bread at all, I feel really, really good. But little did I know, I was supplementing a lot for coconut, and I can't have coconut either. And so I was supplementing a lot of these milks for coconut milk. I was supplementing, just about anything you can think of, coconut water. And so what I found was, although I was losing weight, I wasn't helping myself, because in the end, I was really just supplementing things that were worse for me.
Yeah, you weren't digging to the root cause, which is I think where a lot of people are struggling.
That's why I preach, go and get a food test if you really feel like you are trying to hit a goal in weight loss, and if you are feeling sick after eating or something where you feel like you're in the unknown, go get a food test. It really has changed my life for the better. So yeah.
Yeah, no, you're making me want to go get one. I've thought about it for so long, and I love that.
They're pricey sometimes, but I'm like, save up, do it for yourself, and make it's worth it for sure.
Health is wealth.
Health is wealth. Yes, folks. Awesome. So kind of want to go into mind-gut connection, right? I know there's a book out there that you've talked about.
Absolutely.
You want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I definitely do. So this is actually one of my favorite books. I have even read all of it, and I feel like I've learned so much just about my journey, and again, just the gut and the mind and how it all works. Being someone that studied psychology. Oh, Mind-Gut Connection.
Mind-Gut Connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this Mind-Gut Connection book, it really goes into detail, kind of the psychological effect of just how your brain works, how your gut works, and how really intertwined they are. Now, is that something that you've ever kind of
So what's crazy is I was diagnosed with ADHD at a really young age, and the more I look into it and the more I read it, like a book that I think I've mentioned to you called Grain Brain, the more I read it, the more I feel like it was really my diet.
Yeah.
It was my diet as a kid, that the things I was eating that were making me have lower serotonin in my brain, right? Or I wasn't getting the proper nutrients as a kid. It's not my parents' fault. I mean, back then in 1996, they were like, Adderall, this is what you need. This is going to help change your life. And in a way, I'm grateful for it, and it did, and it got me through school and college, and I learned. But like nowadays, I look at it and I'm like, it's food. It really is food. And I think back to what you're saying about it's the gut being connected to the mind, and it's like the second brain, right?
It is. That's literally what they name the brain in your gut there is it's the second brain. And something really cool about kind of what you were talking about there. There was this thing that they mentioned in this book about kind of just the links between even like depression and anxiety and just like this medication that's handed out for that types of stuff. Not by any means at all do I think that people don't need that for any reason, but I think that there's a lot of holistic ways that we can go about it a little bit more.
I agree.
And with that too, they were saying how, when we're giving these supplements, it's, fixing kind of the brain. It's giving you that dopamine that you're looking for, right? But it's not getting down to that root cause. And those aren't digesting down into that gut, into that second brain where, really is where a lot of that is processing.
Right. And you heal that gut, you can, I think, heal a lot of those mental disorders because I worked for this company that was called, I'm blanking on the name of it right now, but it was a company where we worked with kids who had autism and anybody who had Asperger's, things like that. And the first thing that we did was change the child's diet. And you had to change their diet. It was a very strict diet. And taking gluten out completely was one of the main things.
Yeah.
And there were kids who would be in that program and then literally, it sounds crazy, but their Asperger's would go away based on not go away, right? But it would get under control, right?
Yeah.
And there was a kid who was literally mute and had been there for 2 years, and his mom was very strict on his diet and everything. And I remember being there when he said his first words. I mean, it was a crazy experience, and it just makes you realize, like, if you can be strict about your diet and you can eat right and you can eat healthy, you're taking care of that second brain.
Yeah.
You can actually heal some of these. I truly believe that you can heal some of these disorders.
Oh, I 100% believe that too. And I mean, a lot of that's also linked to stress. I mean, when you feel that stress, your stomach's feeling that too. It's going to cause, things not to digest properly. You're going to become bloated. And
yes.
I mean, worst case, you're going to become constipated too, right, guys? That's not fun either. As a woman.
The Taco Bell constipation.
Right.
And we're not saying don't ever eat these things.
No.
I mean, I definitely think that, like, we're going to have cheat days and that's going to happen. But if you're bloated and you're feeling these things, like, try to stick to a really nice diet for a couple, like, months and get yourself to a point where you feel good all the time. And then every once in a while throw in that fun stuff.
Right. And I think a good place to begin with that too is really just more so being mindful. You don't have to cut everything out at once. If you're someone that just maybe wants to shed 5 pounds or wants to just kind of be, a little bit more balanced when it comes to their eating, then, go eat that ice cream sandwich 3 times a week. I definitely want to.
Yeah.
But,
right.
But no, I mean, just being mindful, focus on just getting those things that your body really needs. And then of course, have fun with it. If it doesn't make you feel well, just remember that, the next time you go into eating that might help you to take that step back when you get that craving or want to cheat. So
yeah, I agree. And I think too, something else I want to mention is that, when you start to implement some of these small habits, like I call them micro habits of, instead of having chips, so because I do this a lot too, is go and have carrots and peanut butter or carrots and almond butter is what I'll do. And like, just do it one time a week and switch it up. And then you'll slowly start to notice that you don't crave those things anymore. Yeah. Now, I'm not perfect either. These are things that I work on a day-to-day basis. And I think what I've learned is that being kind with yourself and being compassionate and saying, it's okay. I didn't hit my goal this week. It's okay. I had Chick-fil-A. It's all right. I didn't have anything at home. It's fine. But if you're nice to yourself and you just say, I can do this, and you just continue to try and improve and be better and get those habits under control, I really think you're going to be able to regulate your food, regulate your stress, get that stress under control, and understand, like, what is best for you.
Oh, definitely. So
Yeah.
I think so too. I think that was a really great addition to that too. I mean, I'm someone that will literally buy a bag of Cheetos and I will want to eat that whole bag of Cheetos, and I can bet you I'm going to eat that before I eat those apples in my fridge.
Right.
So if it helps you to, don't buy those Cheetos on your grocery list, but wait to go to a party where someone might have those Cheetos for you to snack on. That's the fun in
it.
So.
You can find fun in it and just do your best, right? But I think that's it for today.
Yeah,
I think
guys.
we covered everything. Anything else, Morgan, you want to chat about? Or are we good?
I think Courtney covered it, guys. I think the most important thing is just being kind to yourself, giving yourself grace. It's not about, making it a race. It's more so about just enjoying the journey and how you feel. And remember, what brings you happiness at the end of the day, right? It's your health. It's how you're going to wake up the next morning. What are you putting in your body? All of the good things. So.
Yep. And those are just a few tips from us on how to improve your gut in 2024. We will see you next time, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.